Hey everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to be toying around with with a couple of programs, or a couple of applications, and it really is just toying around. So I'm looking forward to seeing if you have any suggestions. And so there's two of us right now, and that's good. Um, Hopefully more will join us, and we'll discuss sculpting digitally. By the way, I have been at this. I started last summer. In July, I picked up Zbrush Core, and I stayed with it for about a month. And then one thing led to another, and I got off track, and I was working on another project, and so I got sidetracked, and I put it down. And I learned a little bit. I mean, I learned enough to know that it intrigued me, and so then I went back to it this last January, and I've been at it ever since. I've just been crazy taking a deep dive into this thing, sculpting digitally. And so here are some of the things that I've been working on. I don't know if you've seen this, but this is one of my my sculpts in the Zbrush program, Zbrush application. And then I 3D printed it on my Lego Mars Pro. It's a resin-based printer, and so it gets really high detail. I mean, it's incredible what you can do with this. Let's see, right there is a good shot. Yeah, a little bit blurry. Let me back it up a little bit. So there's lots of things that I've been doing. I've also been working on a chess set. This is my king that I just finished up. Hard to know where the camera is. He's got a few errors in him. I'm going to go back and change those. The pawn, or at least one version of the pawn. And then I have another version that I'm going to work on. I've done the rook. So much fun. I mean, this and the detail that you can get, it's just knocking my socks off. Here's the queen. I can't wait till we get back to some conventions and I can show you these things in person, because it loses something when you're doing it over the camera. Here's my latest sculpt that I did last night. Oh, wait a minute. Let me show you this guy. This is a Dragonborn that I did for one of Jeff's friends, my son, who they have a whole campaign. So I did all of their characters in 3D modeling. And this guy was really fun. I'm getting ready to paint him. That's why he's black. And this is the one I just finished up. Man, did I love doing this one. And I love the way it came out. I have a new printer coming. So tomorrow I'll be able to print this guy at twice the size. So right now he's about, I would say 12 to 15 centimeters high. And I should be able to do almost, twice the size, but 20 to 25 centimeters. I went back and revisited one of my earlier sculpts and 3D modeled him. And this is the space, Gerbils in Space, or Mick Furry, as I was once upon a time calling him. He's got a little eye patch, and I first did a modern gun, and then I thought, no, I don't like that. I want to go back and do old sci-fi, and give him a ray gun, you know. So that's what I did. I had a lot of fun with that one. All right, what are we going to do tonight? Okay, so the very first thing I want to show you is a program that runs on the iPad. I have an iPad Pro, but I've also ran it on just a regular iPad. It gets a little memory hungry, but for the most part, you can sculpt almost anything on it. So if you have suggestions that you want to see me try, you can leave them in the comments area, and I will give it a whirl, and we will see what happens. But this program, this app, is called Forger. And let me just switch it around here. I'm going to bring it up. And so Forger on the iPad looks like this. And you can do all sorts of things with this little app. So let me pop out my pen here, or pencil as Apple calls them. Now, the thing about this is that the screen, I don't know, let me show you. The screen is touch sensitive, just like an iPad should be, and you can do all kinds of things with that, like expand, bring it closer, and do it just doing it like that. You can basically you start with a globe, with a sphere, and I'm going to. What am I going to do? I don't really know. Does anybody have any suggestions? Hey, Rob. Oh, here's a chat box. Hi, yeah. I've really been happy with your progress. Rob has been also carrying on with Zbrush. And this program, this little app for the iPad, functions a lot like Zbrush. So let's say that I wanted to do a dragon. And I'm going to start by just overall scrunching it down a little bit. And you got to remember to, twirl around quite a bit to get your bearings with this thing. And that looks about right. And so now we want to go to a move brush. And what I mean by that is that you're going to be moving around, tossing around stuff, with, let's see, where is it? Move, yeah, there it is. The only complaint I have is that my eyesight is, I need reading glasses, like really powerful reading glasses, and the iPad is so, it's like very, very small. The print, can you see that on the side panel over there? It's just so small, it's ridiculous. It's obviously made for a young person. Okay. So I'm going to enlarge my brush. All the controls to the brush intensity and the brush size are on the left-hand side on those slider bars. The top one is the brush size and the bottom one is the brush intensity. And I'm just going to come through, start sculpting down a little bit. I just wanted to show you, though, this is for $10. $10 on the iPad, and you got this marvelous little program that functions a lot like ZBrush, and you can sit there watching TV and mess around with this, which I've created several different heads on here, and get it centered up there. That's good. All right. And I'm going to pull off down here on the jaw size. I want some eyes are about right there. At first they look just like a crocodile. Let's come through and let's measure out. Hey, can everybody hear me okay? And let's see. Let's maybe lengthen that a little bit and bring that nose down a little bit. And then let's just give him the start of some horns back here. That always helps me a little bit to see the horns come into play. And I want to make sure that when I do the eyes, and let's bring that down a little bit, the size of the brush. Now, if you were expecting some kind of a tutorial, then, sorry. I'm still learning these programs just like a lot of people are right now. And fortunately, we had all this downtime, so I was able to really intensify my study here. And this, now, one of the things like this program has similarity to is that in Zbrush you can do something called Dynamesh, but here you're not doing that. You're going up here to this little icon up here and just remeshing it. So it's kind of like Dynamesh. I don't know really. I mean, it definitely goes back over and smooths out whatever your topology is. Remember that when you're doing sculpting in the computer, every object is broken up into polygons, and sometimes you can stretch out your polygons too much, and then you have to redivide it or remesh it, and so that's what this is all about. It's easier to read in the computer. Yeah, no kidding. And you know what? It is. It actually is. That's weird. All right. Okay, so you can also come through, and when you need to, you can smooth things out a little bit. So like a little lumpy right there. So I went to a smooth brush and just kind of running my pencil over it. And when you need to, now if I was in ZBrush, you can mask in this program, but it's just as easy to keep it free and not worry about it. So I'm going to use the Inflate Brush, and there's a modifier over on the left-hand side. You push, and it allows you to deflate. So I'm going to make a little indent in here for the eyeball. And then maybe one for the nose. Let's go down a size in that brush. Just start an indent right there just so we have some kind of a guide. And now coming back over here, I'm going to do some, I'll add some clay. So they have something it's kind of similar to sculpting in real life. You add clay, which is wild. So you have a clay brush, and you can just come over, and let's make it a little larger, intensify it a little bit more. There we go. Now this clay brush, it smooths kind of nice over things. So, and I covered up my nostril there too. Well, I can always indent it again. And let's put some around that horn back there. And then coming around here to the side, to the jaw. Yeah. Let's go back to the smooth brush. There's a way to key it in. You can add this modifier over here on the left of my head's covering it right now. But you can go over here to the left, and you can there's that little squiggly line. If you push down that with your thumb, it turns your brush, whatever brush you're using, into a smooth brush. But just, you get the idea. This is like really going fast. And I'm going to go back to that inflate thing, and I'll go down to a narrower brush size, turn up my intensity a little bit, and then, oh, no, undo. There we go. I don't like that brush size that big. Okay. So then you can just keep on sculpting here. and just adding whatever you need to do. But this is like $10. Come on, this is like crazy, crazy cool. Yeah, like that clay buildup. I don't know what's happening there. Maybe my brush size is too small. Yeah. There we go. Keep turning him around. Okay, let's do a move here. Let's pull it in a little bit. I always like the traditional look for a dragon. I don't know. You see a lot of things. Oh, that didn't work. No, come on. Hard to hold the computer and there we go. I don't know why I wasn't doing this earlier. I mean, this is crazy cool. It's just so rocks. But there's the several technologies have come together at the right moment that really made me happy, and that's really super cool apps that you can work with. Plus, once you're done, you can print it out, and that's really the combo that's hit the button for me. Let's go back to that clay buildup a little bit there. Yeah. Maybe a little bit along that ridge and a little bit underneath the eye. But now once you're ready to do the eyes completely, you can come up here and you can add another, whatever you want to add, but I'm going to add spheres for the eyes. And then it comes in, it's really big. I'm going to go back to I forget what these things are called, the transform brush here. And when you go to the center square, you just kind of, zoom everything down. And then I'll go back to that little pull and move thing. I'm going to make you buy an iPad. Well, I think that there's lots of little apps that you can get that even for PCs and everything else. But what I'm really digging this program for is because I can sit and watch TV and do this, and it just becomes so daggone fun. I really can't watch TV anyway anymore. I have to have something else entertaining me at the same time. I either have to play a game or I'm doing this, because that's the only way that TV comes remotely close to being relaxing. Otherwise, I'm talking to it and yelling and like, that's stupid. That's not a good plot, Nobody in my household can watch TV with me. They hate it. Except when I'm busy doing something. Nope. You gotta remember to switch whatever you're working on. Right now, that's the eye. I've got the eye selected, so I gotta switch back to the head. And by the way, you can name these things. You can just tap down and rename, and then I'll put this as head, and the other one as rename eye. And you notice the symmetry is on, so whatever I'm doing on one side is being repeated on the other side. And there's a little line down through the center, and that tells you, just where you're at with the symmetry. All right, so now I need to go back to move. Make that brush a little smaller. Oh, that's a little too small. And did I select the right one? I don't think I did. Oh, no, I did. Okay. You can also do this with your fingers. You don't have to do the pencil. Your fingers will work just fine. Yeah, right there above that ridge there, it needs a lot more work. Let's bring it. And then see how crazy the geometry is? It's looking jagged. So you need to go back up and do that remesh thing. And I'm only at, the resolution on this thing is really low. It's 64. Maybe we could bump that up to 128. But here's the kicker on these iPads. Especially, this is iPad Pro. But the kicker is, see that little bar up there and the little pie chart up there in the top, see what would that be? The top right hand corner. That is how much memory you're taking up and how much memory you have left. And these things are really like RAM hogs. And so the more polygons you add to this, the more subdivisions you add to it, the greater that little chart takes up quite a bit. Well, I'm not going to finish this one here because I want to switch over to Zbrush and talk about a really, really complicated program. Fracking hell, I mean, I've never seen more of a complicated program than Zbrush. But I don't want to, maybe we'll do one more thing here. We'll do the mouth to start it anyway. And I went to a crease brush, and we're going to turn up the intensity just a little bit, and I'm just going to draw in the mouth. Now you could have done, let's undo that. Let's make him a sad drag, or a mean dragon. Yeah, that's getting there. And just put in a little bit of crease there. Yeah, I should have paid attention to how much RAM my iPad actually has. I don't know. I just know it's an iPad Pro. I'm not sure exactly where to find that. I think it's in. I don't think it's an upgradable item either. So whatever you buy, I know that it has 256 gigabytes of storage. So that's no problem. But how much RAM it has, I'm not sure, or even how it compares to computers. I'm not sure. Let's go back over to the smooth. And maybe back over to the clay. That's the problem when you get started with something like this, is you get it, you keep wanting to go a little step further. And my intent was just to show you the program and show you what you could do with it. And then when you want to like replicate that eye, you just come over here to eye and pull down the menu and tell it to duplicate, and then go to this symmetry thing, XY thing. Tell it you want to mirror. You want to mirror across the X coordinate, and there you have the other eye. And you can keep working with it. Let me show you some things I've done with this. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll save it. Dragon head 500. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it'll let me. Okay, good. Some things I've been toying around with. Like here's a silly dragon that I did. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. That was a lot of fun. It does have, when you get down to the finish on these things, and you want to like this texture in there on the horns and things, you have something called a stamp. And let me just show you down here on the bottom. The stamp comes up. You can select, or you can even import your own alphas or stamps. They call them stamps instead of alphas. But we'll go to that elephant skin one there. And let's make sure that we have, okay, he's on the head. And so if we wanted to put some more elephant skin down here, we just drag out. See how cool that is? I mean, you can texture things like crazy on this. So, man, so much faster too. And then just, you know, crossing it over and doing the magic of the X thing, it increases the complexity of it and makes it look like you're totally doing something random. And what's the resolution on this one? Okay, I'm not sure. Let me find out. Looks like I subdivide. It went from 132, but I subdivided it into level 3. So I'm guessing. I mean, it doesn't have any more readouts for you. Wait, it does. Way up there. In the left-hand corner, way up there, it has something I can't read. Wow. It looks like 581,000. Yeah, I think it's 581,000 polygons. So it's quite high. And yet it's still handling it. So let's, yeah, we'll save that a little. Might as well. I tried my dog here. That was a lot of fun. I didn't quite get it right. I've got her snout a little bit too much. It's too thick. It was not right. And there's a bump on her nose there. I need to repair that. Same thing, you know, I did, skip save. Here's the, I actually did, where is it? I actually started this guy on here. And you'll notice that I changed quite a few things on it. I lengthened the skull and pulled it out a little bit. And then, of course, I did a lot more texturing. And I also did this in Zbrush. So what I did is I saved this or exported this program in an OBJ file and then picked it up on the in the, oh, hang on, I'm missing comments here. What? I'm not allowed to. Okay, come on, get over here. There we go. So I exported it and brought it into ZBrush, and then I finished it up there, which amazed me. I mean, and it's all done over the network. You know, it's like magic. Let's see, something else I did here. Oh, I did this gargoyle-looking creature. So a lot of practice here. And then a lot of, you can poly paint these things once you're done, which is really fun. It's like coloring book or something, you know. Just sit there and color away. Like, for instance, with this thing here, you can go down to this paint brush, and you can pick your color over here, or the shape of your brush. Let's say that I'm going to go with that little speckle thing, and then you can pick out a color, and then you can just come over here onto your model, and you can just start painting, providing you got the right one. Yeah, okay. Let's change the color so you can actually see it. Yeah, there we go. And maybe the brush size might help. It's like coloring book. So fun. Only it's 3D. Isn't that cool? I mean, some of this is probably, yeah, you know, you must know it, but I don't know. I came at this really late, so. Oh, skip save. I've done a bunch of little cutesy dragons as well, and attempted a cat, which failed, and I'll show you this wizard dude that I tinkered around with. Oh, that's horrible looking. It looks like some kind of a, looks like Zardos. That'll be one for the history buffs. All right. So that's Forger, Forger. And we're going to switch gears, and we're going to go to Zbrush, and we'll see what that's like. So let me put this guy away, and just set the pad over there. And now I need to switch gears as soon as I find my mouse. Okay, there it is. And we will switch gears to sharing Zbrush. And Zbrush is without a doubt the most intimidating and sophisticated program I've ever dealt with. I don't know, do you feel the same way, Rob? I mean, comparing it to Photoshop is like, I don't know, Photoshop's a walk in the park, it seems like to me. But man, what you can do with this program is awesome. And it's basically the same thing, you know. You're starting in the same way, but you just have a lot more tools now. And I'm seeing that I need to get rid of some of my overlays for... Give me just a second here. I need to store some overlays for live streaming away from here so I can actually see the program. Yeah. Okay. Good. And we'll keep this one little overlay down here where it's out of sight. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's freaking. It's just. I started out. Okay, here's the thing. Almost all of the stuff that you've seen tonight. I did with ZBrush Core, and I kept running into things, tutorials where it said, you can do this with it. And I said, oh, really? Wow, I like that. And I especially like this one tool that you could do, and that is the insert multi-mesh. And you can create a brush. And so my very first brush that I ever created was this scale brush. And let me just show you what it can do. It's just phenomenal. We're going to need some more resolution here, so I'm going to turn up the I'll turn up the Dynamesh, I guess. Let's go to like 1056 or something like that. Turn off blur and re-Dynamesh. And basically it's just giving you a lot more topology. And if you want to see the topology, they have a little tool over here on the right that lets you see the typology. That's all those little daggone squares. There's a lot of them. And then your overall count is up here on top. And right now we're at 2.9 million active points. Total points, 2.9 million. So that's a lot. Yeah, it is time to get another monitor. Yeah, transpose mesh, multi-mesh. The look at the complexity on this scrapper. These are brushes. Oh my gosh. Now, to be fair, some of them are just insert mesh, multi-mesh brushes, which means that you can insert a shape. And you can create these brushes, and so I have created one. But it also has something called Z-Modeler, and it has put a band, you can put a strap. There's just a lot of things that you can do with this thing. And the cloth brushes are just phenomenal too. So we'll get into some of that, I hope. And here's my brush. So I've got symmetry on. Let's find that's upside down. Come around here. There we go. And that your orientation is right over here, always in ZBrush. And I just want to go on the side here. And I'm just going to start creating scales. There's no way I can do this fast with traditional means. There's just no way. Basically, all I'm doing is just dragging and popping them down where I think they should go. Isn't that cool? That's the insert multi-mesh. Here, take a look. That was done with the insert multi-mesh. So cool. And it feels so good. I mean, when in real life, it just feels awesome. So there's that, and we'll back this up. And what should I create? Maybe, yeah, it's a bit intimidating. But if you stay with it, it begins to make sense after a while. Maybe after a long while. I kept running into walls like, where the frack is that? What are they talking about? I don't get it, I mean, it's just so crazy. Like the way that they refer to whatever is on your screen, they refer to that as a tool or a subtool. And we're dealing with a subtool right now. And so to look at that, you come over here and you see this subtool over here. The other thing that was really cool about this program is that you could turn on live Boolean. So if you come over here and insert another object, let's do a cylinder, and maybe what we'll do is we will divide this up to smooth it down a little bit. We could have put a crease in there and kept that edge, but I didn't do that. So now I'm going to delete those lower levels and then come back down here and run up the Dynamesh and then Dynamesh it out. I think I am. Didn't it do it? There it goes. Okay. So now we'll go to the move and whatever this gizmo tool is, and I will shrink it down a little bit and lengthen it out, and let's pull it over there. Now let's go to your subtool, and these little icons by the subtool are like both things on the screen at the same time, and they intersect, and there's nothing that's happening. Here is the subtractive one, and so if you turn on live Boolean, this is what you get. Isn't that cool? And then if you wanted to change it, you just drag all the way through, and it stays live like that until you merge them down and do Dynamesh on it. Man, I did. Let me go back to this one. I did so many freaking things on this one with ZBrush Core, trying to make it to work, you know. I jumped through so many freaking hoops, and then all of a sudden, you know, I go to ZBrush, and I got all these other tools, and I think, oh my God, I could have done that. You know? And it's still, a matter of fact, it's just like every day I'm learning something new about this. You know, I just have no idea that you could do this. So there is that. Yeah, especially if you, to Dynamesh, if you, let's see, how's that work? If you want to change it drastically, like if you want to go from 128 to 156, you have to shut it off and then turn it back on. So it's twice, yeah. Oh, okay. So let's get out of that live Boolean, and I don't need that cylinder there, so I'll delete it. Okay. So what can I do now? Maybe eventually I'm going to work on a moose, because I'm going to do moose and squirrel. Yeah, there's lots of things you could do. I mean, when you come across these insert mesh things, there's insert mesh body parts. So if you go, it's in draw mode. Okay, if you go down here, you can get like a pre-done head that you could build a mask on. Which, you know, there's nostrils and there's all things. You could start there, and you can just kind of transform a head if you want. I mean, it doesn't matter really how you start. If you want to, you know, do a sculpt, you can do a sculpt, whatever you want to do. But they have all these insert body parts, and like if you want to insert an ear. By the way, you don't want to have your move or your gizmo tool on, because when you select this, because what it'll do is it will replace your subtool, whatever you have on screen, with that ear complete. Now that sometimes you might want that, but other times you just don't. Oh, this guy, what is the bishop piece going to be? Well, I'm just gonna sell him as a sculpture, like a bust. I'm gonna make him twice as high. That's the reason why I went with the Anycubic Mono X, which is gonna be here tomorrow. Can't wait. Can't wait. I've still been contemplating what I'm gonna do for my bishop and my knight in my chess set. I don't have an idea yet. Well, I have some ideas, but it's just not fully realized. So anyway, you can start there. You can do all kinds of things. You can put into, like, there is machine gun parts and just all kinds of stuff here you can do. Let's pick out this thing. Like if you wanted to put a little gizmo there, and if you wanted to come down here and put another gizmo. Now you notice that this part here is masked, and then this part here is not. So you could still come over here and say split mask points, and you can make these two things separate tools. Oh, what piece I haven't done? Well, I haven't done the knight, and I haven't done the bishop. I've done the queen, I've done the king, I've done the rook, I've done the pawns. But my ideas for the bishop and the knight are not, they're not solidified in my mind yet, so... And I don't really want to work on anything serious. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to work on a moose. Which is, you know, weird. But you'll see. I mean, when I get done with it, I've had this moose and squirrel idea in my head for tons of years. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to squish down my globe or sphere here a little bit, and this is the front to back. That's good. Front, squish it down this way. Maybe a little bit more this way. Okay. And I'll go back to the draw and switch gears to the move brush. Where is it? Down here. And by the way, folks, this is not intended as a tutorial. It's like, what have I learned? It is... it is more like, man, I've been so happy with this program. Things are really cool. Just wanted to show you, share with you what was happening. And we'll come in here a little bit. Let's see, a moose has some kind of a weird chin or bottom lip here. Yeah. And then it has this overhanging lip right here. And maybe if I was doing this for reels, I would go out and get myself a reference. But I kind of want to look cartoony anyway, so. Real cartoony. If there is such a thing. So I'm smoothing as I go here. And let's see, we're going to put the horn there. Also in Zbrush, in Zbrush Core 2, there is something called Sculptris Pro, which adds geometry as you draw it out. So you can come up here and turn that on. Really? Why aren't you letting me do that? I don't know. It worked earlier. Oh, maybe it's on the move brush. Let's go to, where is the snake hook? Right there, maybe. Now it can do it. Yeah, all right. So I think the horns should be about right in there somewhere. And so if you turn on your preview, you can see where it added geometry right up on out here. But you're still going to have to re-Dynamesh to get that to work right. So clicking and dragging anywhere in the open screen re-Dynameshes that. And then I think what I want to do is I want to go to Inflate And I'll put in an inflate up that horn there. What's the intensity? Okay, that should be fine. Well, maybe a little bit too much. Turn the intensity down. There we go. I'm getting some weird problems there with the geometry, so we Dynamesh again. Now if you look at this in the polygon, see it has just as many polygons everywhere. That's what that Dynamesh thing does. Okay, so we will do, where's the move thing again? Move, yeah. Bring up my brush size. Nope, I don't want to do that. Nope, hit the wrong button. Bring up the brush size, and I want to move this guy. I want to move it. Just getting the start of these antlers. And these are going to have to be much thicker. And then it goes out to that plate-like thing, you know. But right now, that's just going to be all I need to get me where I need to go here. Let's make the brush a little bit bigger and pull him out a little bit longer nose. And then his eye should be right in there somewhere, right? And his nostril should be right in here. Now, the weird thing about a moose's nostril is that the big part's down here and the narrow slit is up here somewhere. At least that's what I remember anyway. So I'm going to shrink up my brush size on the move, and I'm going to come over here and hold down the command key on the Mac. I don't know what it is on the PC, but control key or something. And I'm going to just mask out this area, make a brush a little bit smaller. I'm using my my tablet as a second monitor right now, so I can monitor the actual streaming software. So I can't use my pen. So I have to do everything by mouse here. It's been a while since I streamed too, so I'm kind of a little rusty on the streaming software. Okay, and then might as well do the eye while I'm here. And maybe a bit bigger. It's going to be a cartoon, so I want to put a monocle in this, right? So we're actually talking moose and squirrel. Okay, so then anywhere off the tool and holding that same command key down, reverse it, and then I'm going to click on the tool, holding the command key down, and kind of fuzz that out a little bit. So soften the edges of whatever I'm working on here. And then I'm going to go back to the Inflate tool, hold down, and make it bigger. Hold down the Option key on the Mac, and again, I'm sorry if you're on a PC. I don't know what that command is. But I'm just going to kind of keep inflating that until I run into some geometry problems. Come up here. Let's bring that up in intensity. There we go. Ooh, bad. Do that last part. All right, so click off, clear the mask, come back and smooth that out a little bit. And we begin to get the idea of a moose, but the eyes are not right. So I'm going to go back to move, and that's too far back. There we go. I want to bring this part out, this part in. Hey, say hi in the chat, folks. Bring up any questions you want to bring up. I'll try to answer. But again, this is like what happened when I tried this. All right. And that nostril is way down too far. And I think it should be probably farther out, but I'm not sure about that. So maybe smaller brush here. Go down in small brush. Close up that top portion of the nostril. Keep that open down here. All right, let's put the mouth in. That'll kind of help us a little bit. And for that, I'm going to go to this thing called DAM Standard. I don't know why it's called DAM Standard. DAM Standard. Beats the hell out of me. And I think the mouth should start right down there somewhere. And it doesn't go far. Something like that. Now let's put some build up around here so that we can get a little bit of volume over the eye. I'm going to go to this clay add button. It does a really jiggity jaggedy look to it, but sometimes that's okay. It helps you think, or at least helps me think. And hi, Ben. Oh, was that it? Someone named Damien? Huh. Okay. Well, damn. I'm going to go switch over to the standard brush, because on this one here, I just want to kind of smooth it out a little bit. You really don't. You don't need a Wacom. Well, it helps, but you really don't need it. For right now, I mean, this entire time, I can't use my tablet because I got it as a second monitor for my live stream, and that's where I'm reading your text at. And I have to look at my screen up here, so I'm using nothing more than the mouse for this thing. So I guess maybe to do it real justice, maybe, I don't know. But I think I painted with mouse, for so long that I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just crazy. Like an old man type of crazy. All right. I need a stronger. And then this is the problem when you go up in resolution too fast on your sculpt. But you can always cure that. You can go down here in geometry. And I've got it up way up high, so let's go down. Let's just decimate it a little bit here. And let's go down to like 200. So we turn it off, turn it back on. And you lose detail, of course, but now watch what happens to that smoothing thing. Oh, yeah, much easier. Responds more. And if you want to see this on how many polygons it is, see how much simpler it is? So keep it low res when you're first just starting up, I think. That's the best advice. All right, so now put a little bit more volume around his lips there. Yeah, I was telling my son the other day, I was saying, it's funny because when I'm using the tablet, I find myself looking up on the main screen and watching what's happening up on the main screen rather than the actual touch tablet that I got, the Wacom that I got, rather than watching what's happening at the point end of my brush. I've got that disconnect thing because for so many years I used, like a, what's the Intuos, the one that didn't have a screen. For years and years I did it that way. And so I was always looking at the main screen while you have your hand down over here somewhere. And then when I got this one, what I noticed is my hand and my pencil are in the way of what I want to look at when I'm trying to do the thing I'm trying to do. So there is that. I don't know if anybody else runs into those kind of crazy problems, but it happens to me simply because I've learned so many bad habits. Oh, wrong brush. That's why it's not moving. Yeah. Is he looking like a moose? I don't know. Let's bring that in a little bit. And just... I know he's a moose, so he doesn't really have he doesn't have our kind of eyes, a predator's eyes. He has a... What am I trying to say? I don't know. Okay, I built that up a little bit too much, so maybe take that down a little bit there. And a little bit more smoothing. Let's put some eyeballs in there because I can't stand to look at it without eyeballs. Insert sphere. And I don't know if you've run into this aspect of, even in ZBrush Core, most of the, well, there's 4 tools in this gizmo thing that really work cool. Let me just show you that real quick. So like, I'm going to insert another sphere. Let's say that you wanted to do a claw. And let's go to the side view. Let's lengthen it out a little bit like this. Bring it down in size. We're going to do like a claw on the end of a dragon. Do I have a sample? Well, I didn't do this in ZBrush. I sculpted this using epoxy clay. But that's what we're going to try to do. So you bring it out like this. And shrink it down a little bit, and then you go to this gear thing and then come over here to taper and just kind of narrow that up at the end. And this one you can pull down this way, or make it a little fatter at the other end. You don't really have to though. And then you go back and you can go to bend arc. Now this is in ZBrush Core too. So pull it down, and you have a fairly good claw at that point. And you can narrow it up a bit. And then if you wanted to, flatten that area out underneath there, you could use that, what brush is that called? Trim Adaptive or Trim Dynamic. Or where is the other one? Clay polish. Where is that at? Polish. Maybe it's under. I think if you hit the, yeah, okay. No, it's polish. So you can come onto here and you can just hit that polish button and you can kind of flatten that out. It's a little difficult to do. And it leaves kind of weird after effects, but it kind of works with your claw. And then you notice how sometimes claws have this ridge right in here. So you can put in another ridge. Oh, and I didn't have symmetry on. That's why. Okay. Well, that gives you an idea, though, right? Yeah, that gear trick. My gosh. Now you'll find that in ZBrush Core, most of those tools are blocked out, but that taper in the bend arc and the transform soft. Let's go back there and see what those look like. The bend arc, taper, the deformer soft, and I think twist are all available. I can't really remember, but I think so. So really cool things that you can do with that. And the first time I tried to do the claw, I tried to do it all with the smooth brush and the other brushes, and it took forever. And then when I caught onto this trick, I said, "Oh, wow! Oh, yeah, almost forgot to show you this one." I know I got. Jeff says my son says I have a attention deficit syndrome. I switched gears too fast. Here we go. It's not quite ready yet for prime time, but he's going to be able to a little claw hand that's going to be able to hold a dice. So he's almost there. I need to thicken up the fingers, and I need to make sure that the dice can fit. It doesn't quite fit right now, and I don't want to break him. Guess it doesn't matter, but and then the relationship between size and what's this size? Oh well, which this size and what you can print out. That threw me a little bit too. But I found that if you wanted a 1-to-1, like if you wanted to print this out at in real dimensions, then you would set this export tool down here to 29, scale 29. I don't know why, but it seems to work. So I had to toy around with that quite a bit. I just saw it down there. I thought, what's that all about? So I started experimenting with it, and that was the number that I came up with that matched reality. So from whatever you start with to whatever it ends up at, I think 2 of these squares is, your floor grid is, do I want to say, I think 1 square is 1 millimeter. Is that right? I don't know. Something like that. I have it written down somewhere. Okay, back to my moose. I don't know if I really want to go a whole lot farther tonight. I just kind of wanted to show you what was up. And especially, Rob, I wanted to just, all the encouragement I can give you, because I really liked what you did. And if you're having as much fun as I am, then Oh, polish. That was why. I'm trying to move it and it's got polish to it. Okay. There we go. You know, sometimes I find that when you do things like this, like that dimple right there, that looks correct to me. But it was an accident. So how did that work out? I don't know. This doesn't look correct, but the mouth, I think there's more of a chin down here. I really need reference. Oh. Frame. There we go. And maybe let's bring up the volume on these horns or the antlers. Yeah, you and Stan. Stan's trying to do it too. So, more power to you, man. I mean, if I can help you, then that's great too. But there's so many great videos out there. I mean, good grief, there's so many great artists. I got to thinking about it the other night. I was like, it has nothing to do with. It's just like there's a great seascape of or a river of talented people, and just to be able to jump into the pool and swim with them is, you know, a great privilege, and it's fun to do, and it's, yeah. It's you know, it's I don't know, just to be part of that. I like seeing what other people do because it inspires me, you know. Inflate. Where is inflate? Okay. And we got that set back to 10. So let's bring that intensity down a little bit and maybe bring it up a little bit. That's too low. There we go. And I have a feeling the horns ought to go farther up on the skull. I don't think they're actually that low. So let's move that a little bit. Maybe we want to re-Dynamesh that again. There we go. And let's bring them forward, because I think then the bowl starts right here and it comes out this way too. I think. It would have really been smart of me to look at a reference before I started this. You know, my reference is actually Bullwinkle. I'm sure there's going to be some kids who are going, who's Bullwinkle? Once I get this done, you know, I get a statue of Rocky and Bullwinkle together. They're going to like, who the hell is he? What is this? But sometimes you just got to please yourself, you know. Yeah, Flip Normals is fantastic. I've watched a lot of their videos. I haven't seen the speed characters. I'd really like I like that Flip Normals. They're getting a lot out of them. And man, do they make it look easy. Ooh, that looks right. Let's give him a worried look. I guess my other reference memory is from the Thanksgiving Day parade. So I normally see him like that. Yeah, if it, and I'm coming to this way late. Yeah, I'm an old man teaching myself this thing. There's another guy. He's got a Spanish accent, and I really like listening to him. Well, not necessarily listening to him, but I like what he's done. And he put me onto that ability to create a insert mesh brush, and I love the fact that you can do that. Oh man, that's so cool. See, I'm going to have to build up a little bit more around here, around the eye. So maybe switch brushes back to, let's go with that standard brush and small it down a little bit. And let's zoom in on the eye. And let's come across right there. It's a little bit too much. Smaller brush. Yeah, there we go. And I want to be able to, and here's where we're starting to get into, like, we need more resolution. But I want to put a monocle in one eye, so so we're going to need a little bit of overhang, the brow part, and exaggerate that a little bit. Boy, if you're trying to do this with clay, though, good grief. I mean, you can't go back and go, I don't like that. Let's just, it's so much more time consuming in clay. It's not that I'll never go back. I will probably do a lot of things in clay still, in epoxy, resin, when I do my big giant heads. There's lots of things that I'm still going to do in real life sculpting, but the detail that I can get on small stuff like jewelry and things, oh man, this beats the heck out of it. And the detail I can get out of some of these characters, I mean, just look at the living scrapping. I mean, look at that gun. I can't sculpt that small. Well, I tried, but I can't get it to look that pristine and good. So, you've got to admit your limitations. If my eyesight was a little bit better, I could probably do better in real life. But that's why when you get to the big size, it's like, oh shoot, yeah, I can get the eye down really great. I can do lots of stuff really great when it's 3 inches across, just for that eye. Let's go with a damn standard again. And I don't think I have enough resolution for this. But kinda. Oh, we're running out there. Alright, so I probably should take it up in size now. I could subdivide here. I mean, that's what they recommend, but if I'm going to 3D print this, I'm going to want to, mesh everything down into one tool, and then I'm going to make it watertight and all the rest of it, and still want to have all the good detail in it. So there's something called project that you can do with subdividing and all the rest of it, but I'm not there yet, and Dynamesh seems to work so well, so I haven't run into a problem yet. And at the speed I work, well, so it slows my computer down a little bit. I'm slow, so it's all right. And there we go. And bring that up a little bit. Just that. And see what he looks like when you zoom him out. Oh yeah, see his horns definitely need to go up. Let's get the big size brush here. Hey, Rocky, watch what happens when I pull a rabbit out of my hat. Man, I'm going to be happy to get back to conventions, because I'm going to have a lot of stuff to show. I can't help but think, though, I wouldn't have had time to do this if I was running the convention circuit. And so I'm kind of grateful that I've had this time and able to learn new skills, practice them. Let's pull this down so we have some kind of a neck. But because we don't want to do too much of a neck, because kind of a neck, because this is based on a cartoon, but still going to be realistic. And I'm gonna do him a safari outfit with a big old musket, and Rocky's going to have the ultimate flying jetpack and all kinds of stuff. And then Bullwinkle's going to be all decked out with all kinds of gadgets, pockets. Yeah. Yeah, I've tried several of the I got another virtual con coming up, which I'm guest of honor at, again, second year in a row, which is Demicon, and I appreciate the fact that they asked me back for a second time because they felt so bad about having to cancel, and then canceled again this time too. But they really don't work. They not for art, I don't think. People have to, it's an impulse buy too, most of it. And they really have to see it, pick it up, look at it, discuss things with the artist, and feel like they're there, And I think for the artist that has to be, that's true too. And the virtual cons, man, they just don't hack it. It's better than nothing, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to turn it down. But It just doesn't. It's not the same. And that's coming from an introvert. So, hey. I think the eye ridge needs to come out even further. Maybe the eyeball needs to go up. But I can think of no better way to sculpt that's in a more relaxing manner than this. This is, once you catch on and you get comfortable with the tools, this is pretty good. By the way, you can switch subtools by holding down the Option key and clicking on whatever tool you want to work with. So you can quickly switch, I think. Yeah, about right there. And maybe bring it in just a small smidgen. So if you want to, I don't even have to go over here to the subtool menu. I just hold down the Option key and click. And it switches back and forth, which is nice. Yeah, I've tried almost everything in working with online sales. Lots of discounts. I mean, like, what the heck? I mean, I can afford to do the discount if people are buying, and I'm not going to the, all the expense of going to a show and staying in a hotel and all the rest of it. Sure, I can afford to do a discount. But the sales have not been there, so pretty dismal. Especially this quarter. I don't know. Last quarter was nice because it was Christmas quarter, but this quarter has been really weak. I think I got an order tonight, just before I fired this up, which was nice. Damn standard. That's a little too intense. Back that off. Now, if I was doing it with the pen, I could just vary my pressure, but I'm doing it with the mouse, so I have to manually back it off. There we go. Yeah, that's not right. Undo. That's another thing you can't do with clay. You can't undo. Doesn't work. Well, you can, but it doesn't. It's not a very fun process. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Sales, I did all right. I made it through the year. I'm still going. I probably will be in trouble right around July if things keep on going the way they are right now. So I'm really hoping that we'll get back to the conventions by then. Who knows? I got my shot. All cured up. I got the second one. Boy, the second one was, wow. It put me under. It packed a 1-2 punch that really knocked me down. But don't let that dissuade you from getting it. It's essential that we all get vaccinated up so we can get back to doing what we want to do. It's not just yourself that you have to be worried with, but it's, I'm doing standard. It's others too, so do the right thing. And I've been with you for an hour and a half. That's enough time to inflict upon you. And so I think I'm going to call it quits for the night. Yeah, it goes by. Well, at least I know you're having fun. I'm having fun. And when you're learning, I guess it's it can go by fast. I spend an hour after hour in here tinkering, experimenting. What else have I learned? Just I can leave you with something else that I thought was amazing. These in Zbrush, there's these. Where is it? I haven't tried the grooming, the fiber mesh yet, but I hear that's awesome. Oh, there's this cloth hook thing. That is pretty substantial. So let me show you that. Because I know that you were asking about that you were experimenting with doing the cloth thing. There's a couple of ways you can do the cloth, but this is something that belongs in Zbrush, and it's a cloth hook. It's kind of new, I think. But you can just... Oh, I should have done it with gravity. Let's do that over again. In just a little bit of time, you can get really cool things going there. I did it on the dragon wing, and I kind of overdid it. I overdid it. And I didn't get it quite even. But there's that. Then you can also load in an alpha. And I went looking on the net, and there's all kinds of alphas out there. And I picked up this one. Let's see, where is it? Wrinkles. Icons. And I think this one was free, so that's the reason why I grabbed it. So if you wanted to do, like a elbow wrinkle, you'd pick up something like this, and then you could come in here and just look at that. That's done with an alpha. Oh, I'm in that. Clear off. That's damn standard. Now let's go to that. Back that up. Right now. There we go. Look at that. That's a pretty reasonable cloth wrinkle. Now he looks like, Bullwinkle in the parade. His balloon's busted. It's deflating. And come back and hit it with the smooth tool, and you can turn up the intensity. Let's see if what that happens. Oh, I'm still in. Modify your brush to put that drag direct. There we go. Now you can swirl it around, make it big. Look at that. That looks cool, doesn't it? You know how long it would take to do that in clay? Too long. And you couldn't do that. So that's alpha, and there's a whole bunch of them out there. And just, one of the things you can do, as long as it's grayscale, 16-bit grayscale, as long as it looks black and white, and you can have gradient shades and all the rest of it. You can do it. You can do it yourself. You can go to Photoshop and get a 1000 pixel by 1000 pixel square, and know that the drag is up and down. So whatever orientation you do it in, see when I do this, it's oriented. I can scroll it around. So you can make up your own just by drawing in Photoshop, exporting it out as a Photoshop document, and then import it into here using the alpha import. And then what's really sweet is if you, like for instance, let me show you this one. You can make up your own. Go back up here, alphas, symbols. Let's say. So I made a little dragon symbol. It's all just really sharp. So look at that. Shazam. I mean, that really dazzles it up. So that's just black and white. You know, you can just really simple, just draw in Photoshop, export it out as a Photoshop document, and put it into like a, an alpha folder that you can grab. And then the one thing I noticed though is that every time that you launch the program, launch ZBrush, that's going to clear out of here. But as long as you've got the program up and running and you're working on something, it stays with you. So I can go back and I can select this brush here and wrinkle it up. All right, so that's my tips, things that really wowed me. And thanks for joining me tonight. Been a privilege. We'll try to do it again. Thanks again. We'll sign off as soon as I find whatever it is. There we go. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.